My name is Teal Garth. I'm the Programs and Communications Coordinator for Dress for Success Austin. So if you were in the last webinar, I apologize, you already heard all this, but we try to partner with Texas Veterans Commission 3 times a year for these events, or 4 times a year, 3 or 4 times a year for these events.
Mm-hmm.
We usually have women come to our office. We give them professional attire, and we have some career readiness workshops. Last time we had some makeup and some headshots. So now we're kind of flipping to this whole virtual environment, and it's been great to hear from all these veteran leaders from, really all over Texas. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me. And I can go ahead and hand it over to Ms. Sharon to give an introduction for our speaker.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Sharon Stewart. I'm the Women Veterans Coordinator for Central and South Texas, Texas Veterans Commission. I don't know if you can see my little Army pin, but I'm a proud Army vet. I served 21 years, 6 months, and 20 days in the Army. Not that I counted, but I will say, who, Roger that, Wilco, you, this is me. I met Tracie last year at a Women Veterans event, and me and Tracie immediately clicked. Tracie is phenomenal. She cares about our sister veterans. With her character, I'm just proud of who she is and her resiliency and her empathy and her power as a woman veteran. So further ado, I do want to say Tracie is a OIF and OEF veteran. So she gets it all. She totally understands. And she's paying everything forward and paying everything back by being a force for good and being a national representative for Woven. So Miss Tracie, you do what you do. I'm just going to bask in your sunshine while you tell us about your wonderful program. And I do want to say real quick, I actually participated in Woven. I was like, ladies, do not look at me as the Women Veterans Coordinator. I am doing this as your fellow women veteran. I need this for me, and I really got a lot out of it. So without further ado, Miss Tracie, take it away.
Oh, I thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Sharon. I hope I can live up to the hype. I'm glad that you started with how we met, because if it wasn't for sister veteran organizations, we never would have met. I think at that time, I was just kind of figuring things out for myself and hadn't connected with sisters before I came to Woven. So that's kind of how this works. When we come together, beautiful things happen. We feed off one another. We encourage one another. We empower one another. And that's what this organization is about. Before I get too much into that, I want to thank you, Till, for this opportunity. Thank you, Dress for Success Texas, Austin. And we do have some visitors from outside of Texas, and I want to welcome them too, and welcome all of our sister veterans here in Texas. When I am an Army vet, and Woven is for every branch of service, no matter what era, age, no matter your discharge status, we welcome you with open arms. And before I get too much into it, could you please play our wonderful, this is a compilation video of some of our national trainings where we train peer leaders to deliver what is the core of Woven, which is our groups, where the women actually come together and create that connection. So if you don't mind, Till.
I'm just pulling it up now. All right, let me share my screen really quick. All right, here we go.
Say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Why do I think that women veterans want to connect with each other is because we don't know where we are. We don't know where the other female veterans are. Sometimes when you're not near a base like Charlotte, you have no idea who these other female veterans are. And it's only through conversation sometimes that you find this other female veteran. A lot of the veteran groups that I've been a part of are mostly men, probably 90+% men. So it's really, really important that female veterans connect because we have a voice and we have a presence.
And we started sharing our stories and everything, and it was just sincerity in everybody, you know, and it was something that I needed and something that I've needed for a long time, you know, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And the only thing that I want now is my first day back.
One of the things that I struggled with greatly when leaving the military was finding my new place, my new community. My husband remained on active duty, and so I immediately identified only as a spouse. And yet I put my veteran service on the shelf. And so that was something that I later learned to regret. Now I no longer put that on the shelf. I wear my woman veteran status boldly and proudly.
I'm sure a lot of us have had a lot of difficulties and challenges with trying to adjust to coming back home. So I dedicated this poem to all the women in the military.
To be someone who sacrificed and worked just as hard as all the male veterans, but somebody who often gets forgotten about.
Walk a mile in my shoes and you will experience camaraderie like you've never experienced before. Walk a mile in my shoes and you will see the world differently. Your priorities will change. What used to be frustrating will now seem minuscule. Walk a mile in your shoes and you will know what it is like to be a woman in the United States Armed Forces.
If you're looking for some people, not just one person, if you're looking to network, if you're looking for that family, that sisterhood, Woven is where you want to be.
So I'm going to take all of this, and help other women navigate through life to get to a happy, successful, and a productive life, and do the same for myself.
Woven has meant sisterhood, reconnecting with family, and a chosen family, and feeling like I belong.
The impact Woven has had on me has been life-changing. I went from a place where I isolated or pretended to be someone else just to fit in, to where I am me and I'm accepted. And not only in that part, I'm rewarded.
Woven means healing. Woven means sisterhood. It's a camaraderie of sisters getting together and speaking up for sisters without a voice.
Tracie and I had no idea what this was going to be. We thought we'd stand there, they say our name, we'd go. We were actually involved, as you can see, in the actual ceremony. They stopped everything in the park.
We got to retire the flag at Disney World, and I can't tell you the honor that it meant.
We walked down the street, people were clapping. So just when we thought we were at the end, he goes, okay, be ready, because there's a whole line of people that want to shake your hand. And they came up and and these were younger. They were all ages, but mostly young, and they kept saying thank you and hugging us. And Molly was like, she goes, you don't know how special this is, because we always get men.
to do this. She goes, y'all are the first females. Okay. So
you go in and you're in a room with people you don't know, and you have that, is this for me? Is this where I belong? How am I going to relate to people? But just do it, and you will be surprised at the camaraderie that you find and the love and the support that you've been missing. So my best advice is just do it.
She was sitting in the back of the room, and someone up in the front of the room yelled back, "Will you stand up now?" And she said, "Yes, I will." So I ask you women, will you stand up now? Yes.
I am woven for life. I met Woven and got engaged in Woven about 3 years ago. At that point in time in my life, I needed a lot of support. I was searching for something in my community where I could connect with other women veterans. And much to my dismay, there was very little resources. So I became involved in a Woven focus group. And from that point on, I've been Woven for life, and I've developed a new sisterhood.
We are resilient and we are powerful.
New friendships and even more respect for my sisters in arms. I am in awe of every last one of you. You are amazing women.
If I could capture Woven in one word, it would be deliverance.
I would say connections, healing,
family, love,
phenomenal,
family.
Yay! I just love that video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I still get the feels every time I see it. That's a representation of the reach that Woven has had. All of the women that you see in those videos have come from all over the nation. Kat, who is on the call today, is in North Carolina. I'm here in San Antonio, Texas, but there's also women from Ohio, Florida, Dallas, Houston, you name it, and it's spreading, and it's because we take care of one another. And that's the beauty of Woven. If you don't mind pulling up the slides, we can go through and talk about the program and how it's grown, a little bit more about how it started. So I'll just wait for Till to kind of handle that part.
Yep. Give me 1 second.
I appreciate you. You're muted, Sharon. I know you were trying to talk to me.
Yes, ma'am. I was going to say, during your presentation, ma'am, are you going to tell us like how you became part of it and how you became I believe you're a national representative. Is that correct?
That's correct. I am a national consultant now.
A national consultant. Yes, ma'am.
Right. And so I can start with that, with kind of how it began for me. I was searching for something like this. I had been involved with other groups as far as like within the VA, and they were helpful. Don't get me wrong, they were helpful, but there was something that was missing. I couldn't put my finger on it. But I learned something from every one of those. But I found when I was looking online and I read the mission statement and I said, hey, I want to be involved in this. So I signed up to be part of a group. And at the time, they needed a peer leader here in San Antonio. So the next thing I knew, it was like a whirlwind. I was in New Orleans meeting all these other wonderful women veterans. And I knew in that instant, this is what was missing. The conversations I was having. I never had conversations like this before where I felt so comfortable. I have to watch what I was saying, and they understood my experiences without me having to over-explain, which is, I found, is difficult for most of us when we transition and try to go into a civilian job, or even just coming home to our families. Once we take the uniform off, the conversation is different with your sister veterans. So in New Orleans, I was trained as a peer leader, and I came back to San Antonio and delivered my first group. And it was powerful. It was powerful. And I've been woven for life ever since. This was in 2018.
No.
So since then, Woven has grown here in San Antonio as well as across the nation. So that was my origin story. So I started as a peer leader. As the program developed, we realized we needed other. So there's another level to it. Now there's trainers who actually go in and they just show these peer leaders to their city, their veteran. Is that me? I'm sorry. I'm hearing a terrible background.
Yeah, at one point you started to fade in and out just a little bit, but maybe if you lean a little closer.
Here we are. Is that
Yeah,
better?
that's great. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, let me get my face out of the. So where was I? I was delivering the groups here. So then we developed trainers. I became a trainer, and we would fly to different parts of the country. We've been to DC, Florida, and then San Diego. And of course, everybody knows what we're going through now, and we've had to move online like the rest of the nation. But we would deliver these groups to the peer leaders to take to their prospective cities. And so then developed the national consultant, which I was very excited to have this opportunity to kind of share my experiences with the newer peer leaders, with the new women of Woven, and kind of help guide them. No matter what they're probably going through, Kat and I have probably gone through it as well. So you always have someone there. You're never by yourself. You have somebody to lean on, somebody to ask for advice. And that's how Woven works.
All right. And Teal, do you are you able to go ahead and bring up her slides, ma'am?
Yeah, so I actually don't believe that I have them. If you wanted to go ahead and email those to me very quickly, I could get them up if you wanted to pull them up on your own.
I have it on my end.
I think I only have the video for you.
All right.
And a lot of people are asking me if I can let Margaret in. She was in here. I'm not sure what happened. I just emailed her and let her know to try again because I can't admit someone unless they're trying to join.
Would you like me to try to present it myself?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
All right. Until I did email you the slides, and we do apologize, ladies. We did have a rock drill last week. We all are familiar with Murphy, so thank you for your patience. All right, but Till, I emailed you the slides, and please go ahead, Miss Tracie. There you go. Yeah.
Let's see if that works.
Yeah.
I don't know what you all can see.
Yeah, I see Woven Mission. We see the slides.
Well, it may be better for Till to do this because let's see.
Yeah, Sharon just emailed it to me, so I can go ahead and pull them up.
I appreciate that.
No problem. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Got lost in the email.
We're familiar with Murphy. We've all been through Murphy. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies, for your patience.
All right. How's that?
That's perfect.
Right.
So here, this is Woven and Bridges. And you can go ahead to the next slide because I'm going to tell you about Bridges, which we're very excited about, but I'll get to that later. So this is our Woven team. And the team is located in Boston. We're headquartered in Boston under the leadership of Drs. Tara Golofsky, which is our director, and Amy Street, who is the co-director. And Tara and Amy are both associate professors of psychiatry at Boston University School of Medicine. Tara's the director. Amy, I said that already. So Tara is the director of and the Deputy Director of the Women Health Sciences Division of the National Center for PTSD within the VA. So this is important because Woven is evidence-based, the curriculum that the women participate in the groups. There's also a research component that is completely voluntary, but so very important in the development of new programs and how to assist women veterans and just their quality of life. And we can go ahead to the next slide, if you don't mind. So these are just some statistics, which is women comprise 15% and growing of the armed forces, which is a lot. And with that, us being the minority still, we still have our struggles outside and also in service. There are fewer resources that are geared towards easing that reintegration for women veterans relative to our male counterparts. So the social support that fosters connections and promotes well-being and mental health and the quality of life, when I go back to that research component, this is why that's important. Go ahead to the next slide. I love this picture. So this is kind of an original shot, and I don't know if any of you recognize those two ladies, Melissa and Valerie, and they're from San Antonio, Texas. I'm sure they're Woven for Life, but they're not directly with the program right now. The other shot is of some of our Navy veterans while we had to participate in a photo shoot on the, I can't remember the name of the ship right now, but we are on board. Do you remember the name of that one, Kat? Maybe she can post it. But I was in San Diego just before COVID in February. You can go to, so Woven's mission, which is really important, and that's to create a sustainable network for women veterans to go to, so you'll always have somewhere to go. So you're not searching like most of us were when we transitioned. Where do I go? Where do I fit in? We're creating that network with our website, with our Facebook pages, with our groups, and our different communities that are being created through our peer leaders. So Woven connects women veterans of all eras and service branches, and it seeks to empower the women veterans by providing information, education, resources. Resources are so important, and we're always looking for other organizations to sort of partner with. And when I say partner with, if somebody in Oklahoma wants to know about a resource there, chances are we have a Woven member that is there that can assist them, which is also helpful because sometimes we transition to different places, we move. We can go to the next slide, please. This also is a wonderful picture. This picture is in Florida. And this just shows the connection, the family, the love that we have for one another in working together. Go to the next slide, please. These are the places where you can also connect with Woven. And you can see our growth as our numbers grew from 2017. How many are enrolled? How many are registered? That shows the tremendous need for sister veteran networks. We're always seeking to connect with each other. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and now recently Twitter. And our numbers are, I think we're at 42. So go follow us on Twitter, please. So we can also share resources, share your organization, what your efforts are and what you're doing for our women veteran community. And next slide, please. Woven's growth. As you can see, we have over 2,000 women registered in Woven, 16 trainers, 220 peer leaders. which is an exciting number because we'll be adding to that number this weekend with our new virtual trainings to include 16 more peer leaders that have stepped up to that call to deliver these groups, to create that connection with other women veterans. Look at the number there, which is quite a large number. Over 2,000 women are enrolled just to be part of this group, and growing daily. Daily, women are enrolling to come together, especially during this time. It's very important. You see there how we've grown with our 2 national consultants, which is Kat and myself. You see the numbers of the trained that are trained nationally. That means we all came together in San Diego or Orlando, DC, New Orleans, and we're trained nationally. And then we have regional trainings in your area where Woven is already established. Before COVID, you could meet with a peer leader, a trained peer leader or trainer, and become trained that way to deliver the groups. You see the attendance number there is how many people have attended in person, how many people have attended online. And you see that apprenticeship number. And this is sort of what happened with me. Sometimes you can't make the commitment or life happens. So after my first partnership, I needed to find another partner. And my next partner, who's been with me by my side for the past 2 years, is Brenda Massey, who was apprenticed by me. She had gone through the group. She understood the importance of the group. And we paired together and we began to deliver the groups. And we've grown so much in San Antonio, I'm sorry. And next slide, please. There we are across the nation. And this is the power of women veterans. We hope to increase that number. And we also have Puerto Rico, if you can see it down there in the corner. Puerto Rico is also added. We need to get Hawaii on board, which I think will be happening soon. Alaska, we're looking for you too. So reach out to your sister veterans if you know them, some in those areas or some of the areas that are missing, and tell them that we need them. Next slide, please. How do we do this? We can do this without the generosity of our supporters. And our initial support was from the Walmart Foundation. We were so thankful and grateful to receive their support. But since then, we've received support from the Texas Veterans Commission. Hello and thank you. Yes, ma'am. Also, the Oak Foundation. Walmart loved us so much and liked what we were doing and understood the importance of what we're doing that they decided to fund us again for our new programs, our alumni programs and Bridges programs that we can talk about. And also the National Center for PTSD, and also Bob Woodruff, who is now also on board with helping us deliver these wonderful groups and making those connections. Next slide, please. Thank you. So when we talk about reintegration, significant and unique readjustment challenges compared to male veterans, and I think we can all relate to that. Now there are the invisible wounds of war that sometimes female veterans face, physical and mental injuries, compromised relationships and family functioning, challenging employment transitions, which I know we learned a lot about today in the first presentation. And I thank Kitty, who I also met a year ago, because Sharon provided that platform for us all to come together. And I thank her for that. Now, the isolation presents a threat to well-being and increases risks or negative health. And I can relate to that in so many ways. It's like we just keep going. We keep going and pushing forward and not knowing that there's somebody that can help you. So it was a missing component. I knew how to get into school. I knew how to do this, but it all became better and easier when I had my sister veterans there to have my back. With the unique advice and experiences that we all share. So that social support is very important. Can I have the next slide, please? So challenges associated with transitioning. Now, these are from women that have been in the groups, trainers, peer leaders, group members. And as you can see, they vary. But let's just take this one. I struggled to find a good, positive support system of people I could connect with and relate to. So important. I had a hard time connecting to people after I left the military. And we hear this over and over again, no matter whether you're in Texas, Oklahoma, Alaska, Puerto Rico, it doesn't matter. We're all kind of going through the same things. And sometimes you don't know that until you make that connection. And it makes things a lot easier to go through, to know that you're not alone. Next slide, please. Bridges. If I knew then what I know now, we are so excited about this. Bridges is our new development. And it's like an expansion of Woven. And Bridges stands for Building Reintegration from Dreams and Goals to Execution and Success. And this is a mentoring model of support for women transitioning out of the military, something that's never been done before. It's like a addition to TAPS, so to speak, but designed just for you. And what's unique about this is that it is mentoring. You will have, as you're transitioning, you have that one person that you can go to and say, hey, I need to know about my VA. What do I qualify for? What are my educational benefits? How do I write a resume? How do I do this? No matter what that resource is or what they're going through, they're going to have that mentor to guide them, and it will help ease that transition. Next slide, please. And this is kind of what I just talked about. We're excited because our focus groups will be starting next week with our women veterans, and then we will be doing focus groups with actual active duty members to help create the content for Bridges, and hope to launch early next year. Next slide, please. And here we are, the female service members and the women veterans. If you want to participate or know someone that is currently active that would like to participate, to reach out to us, because we'll be looking for focus groups after the ones next week with the women veterans. Next slide, please. The weekend retreat. So as you can see, this is something that we're really excited about. And this is where our active women service members will come together at this retreat. We'll have design content around their transitioning. They'll get to meet their mentors, anywhere from 12 months out to 6 months out, and see what their needs are as they transition. Why? To encourage the women service members to consider dreams and goals for life after service. So sometimes we don't think about exactly what we're going to do when we get out, but kind of open your mind to that transition process and all the things that are available to you. Next slide, please. That mentor model of support that I just spoke about. Now, our Woven Women veterans are going to be the excellent selection for our mentorship. So there's someone that has already walked that walk for that service member and kind of ease them into that transition into Woven so that they're always connected and we're not losing our sisters. As you know, sometimes, like we talked about before, we isolate. We don't know where to reach out. And I think we'll have a far better impact in letting women know it's okay to identify as a woman veteran. Next slide, please. Now, access to resources, which is so important. On our website, we have vetted organizations that provide unique resources to whatever you may be going through, whether it's educational, employment, mental health, and the active online community. There's also a community of women veterans where you can talk back and forth, find out who's in your area, and just meet and talk about things that are important to you through our online community. Next slide, please. Here is our growing list of partnerships, collaborations, and conversations. And next slide, please. I understand that these slides will be available if you want more information or there's something that I didn't cover during this presentation. So the warm handoff to the Woven community, this is going to be so important and something that I think is so necessary and that was missing when I transitioned, where you have a community where you fit in that is willing to just greet you with open arms and help you along the way. And that's it. Oh, the National Summit. Oh my gosh, we're so excited about this. And of course, this will be, once our country is healthy and safe to move about, the National Woven Summit is like a celebration of us all, right? If you're involved with Woven, whether you're a group member, peer leader, trainer, woman veteran, we hope to go to some undisclosed location and celebrate ourselves. Of course, Kat and I want it to be Hawaii, right? And just come together where we can actually talk about what it's been like to be a part of Woven, to celebrate those peer leaders that are just doing outstanding jobs. We have peer leaders that are doing group after group after group. They can't get enough because our waiting list is so long. We can't train peer leaders fast enough to deliver the groups. So we want to reward them, celebrate ourselves, have guest speakers, and of course, we're going to be updating this information as we move towards that, but we're hoping summer next year. Next slide, please. All the beautiful pictures. I love the pictures that we take when we get together. This is from DC in the bottom left-hand corner. Above that is in San Diego, that beautiful skyline. New Orleans, where you see Kat and I, that's where it all began for me. And then down in the right-hand corner, that is us in Orlando, Florida, celebrating each other. And as you can see, it doesn't matter. We all come from all different walks of life, branches, eras, but we just come together and love on one another and empower one another. And that's the beauty of Woven. And that concludes that part of the presentation. I hope you guys have questions.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Tracie. I just want to let everybody know I participated in Woven right at the onset of COVID-19, and just having that social interaction with my peers who totally got me, got the knife hand, got the rule, got the, that was just phenomenal. And just, sharing just the different topics that we discussed, that was phenomenal. So I'm just personally, I'm not endorsing this as a state employee, but as Sharon Stewart, well, I probably can since we gave you a grant, but just let me give you this firsthand reference that as somebody who's going through it, it was absolutely what I needed when I needed it. And these ladies got it. And so many of us is, we're not necessarily taking care of ourselves during this time because we take, everybody else. So this is just a worthwhile investment in yourself. You're connecting with your sister veterans, you're empowering, you're decompressing, and I'm sure the Walmart gift card didn't hurt either. So I got a little Walmart gift card for participating. But having said that, I'm going to hush my mouth because we got time left. And the ladies, please ask your questions. And Miss Kat, did you want to say anything, ma'am?
No,
I
just wanted to say this is great. I just wanted to jump in and support Tracie and Woven, and it's been a ride, and I couldn't come as far as I have without Tracie. She's been phenomenal, and Texas, you're lucky to have her. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, you're too much. You and Sharon, I feel so good about myself this morning, all the beautiful things that you all are saying about me. But one thing about Kat is an OG. I don't know if y'all know what that is. Original. She was in the very first focus group of Woven. And without her, yes, the very first focus group of Woven. And she hasn't left, right? And she has supported so many of us. And that's what this is. It's like passing the torch on and on, but we don't go away. We're still here, but we're just building and growing, and it's for all of us. And it's just a beautiful thing. I have become a crybaby with Woven. I used to be so tough, and now I just get the warm and fuzzies, and it has really changed my life. It really has. And sometimes when I just sit back and I participate in these groups and I hear them, like I remember being there. And then you see how far you've come, and then you watch your sister grow. When I see my sister from 2 years ago, where she's in a new job, she's doing this, it just opens you up to so much more there. I can call Sharon and say, hey, there's a young lady with this. I've got her. And I know that she's taken care of. It may not be my expertise, but we know Sharon can handle it, right? And she knows what to do with that young lady. And if she doesn't know, then she tells Margaret. And if she doesn't know, she tells Kitty. And it is a beautiful thing. The country can learn a few things from us women veterans, right? One of us is going to be president, right? That's right.